welcome into room 442, guys. And this will be our last show before the World Cup final. Albert Vartanian, Mikey Singh, James Sharman, and myself, Sarah Pararia. What a World Cup it has been. We are finally here. The final, Argentina versus France. Who's going to win? We will see Sunday. But guys, let's look a little bit at the run that these two teams had and their journey through the World Cup. We'll start with Argentina, starting off with them losing 2-1 to Saudi Arabia. And since then have been on a roll. They beat Mexico 2-0, Poland 2-0, Australia 2-1. That crazy game against the Netherlands, 2-2 into penalties, winning 4-3, and finally 3-0 against Croatia. France, on the other hand, had a massive win against Australia in their first game. They went down 1-0, but then scored 4 goals. They won against Albert's favorite team, Denmark, 2-1. Lost to Tunisia after already qualifying out of the group stage. Beat Poland 3-1, England 2-1, and finally Morocco 2-0. It has been a journey, gentlemen, for both of these sides. But my question to you is, which side has been more impressive? James, who has had a better run this World Cup?
That's interesting. Best run. I mean, no team's been great every match. They've all built into this tournament, which is what great teams do, right? It's about tournament management. And like we discussed before, there hasn't been a great team at this World Cup. There's been great performances, great moments, great players, obviously. But as far as great teams, that's a really tough one. I would say Argentina's been slightly more impressive.
Is it because of that loss to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, because remember when that happened, what we were talking about, wow, this could be one of those great storylines where this pre-tournament favourite crashes out in the group phase. Messi's dreams come crashing down, but on the contrary, the resilience they've shown to bounce back and get better every single game, culminating in that semi-final when they were really, really good. I'd give them a slight edge, but listen, France have been much similar to them actually as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Argentina too, because based on that loss to Saudi Arabia, Messi said it. He goes, since that loss, every match up until this point has been a final, which is true. They needed to win out the last 2 matches in the group just to make it into the knockout stages. So I think that's why it's more impressive. But if you look at France as well, listen, they went 1-0 down, as you mentioned, in the Australia game, and that's what kind of kicked them into gear to be like, hey, we got to play here to get out of this group, and they did. And I think for France, as difficult as that England game was, they made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, for me, it was France. Like, France, I think, has been the most impressive team throughout the whole course of this tournament because their slip-up wasn't a loss. It was going down 1-0 20 minutes into a match against Australia. They did lose to Tunisia, but they were already through to the groups or to the knockout stages at that point. They rotated 9 players from their starting 11. Mbappe came off the bench in that game. France really hasn't had a true slip up in this tournament, and they've got the job done when they needed to get it done. So I think for me, it's France.
But they're such similar teams, right? The way they both play, they rely on moments, and the word I keep hearing over and over again is pragmatic. They're a pragmatic team, both of these sides, right? They're not exciting. It's not champagne football. We remember the moments of genius from Mbappe and Messi, but beyond that, they can be quite dull games and dull performances. France have been criticised in the past, but they're the defending World Cup champions. Another final, a Euro final. This is what they do. They're a good team that play a certain way. You don't need that swashbuckling Brazil 1970. Unfortunately, I wish you did. But in modern football, you don't. So they're such similar teams in that regard.
Now, I'm wondering, though, both teams, similar, you're saying, what team is under more pressure? We know Mbappe, 23, he's going to his 2nd World Cup final. It's just ridiculous. But is France under more pressure simply because they are the defending champions? Or is it Messi knowing it's his last World Cup and all of that has the baggage that's coming with that? I think there's claims to both, but Mikey, what do you think? Who has more pressure on them going into this final on Sunday?
It's absolutely 110% Argentina who has all the pressure on. This is likely going to be Lionel Messi's last World Cup. They have not won a World Cup since 86, right? So not in the Lionel Messi era. Whereas France is coming off a World Cup 4 years ago. If they lose, they're like, okay, you know what? We had a World Cup 4 years ago, reached the final, still really impressive. Whereas Argentina, I mean, they've been to this stage 8 years ago. They let it slip through their hands. And if they do that again, it's not going to look great for the squad. And yeah, the pressure's on for Argentina.
I don't disagree with that at all, but just playing devil's advocate here, Albert, There haven't been many teams that have won back-to-back, though. And isn't that something that France want to achieve? I mean, they're still going to go leaving upset if they lose this. Yeah, they can say we won 4 years ago, but they could also say we are one of the only teams ever to have won back-to-back finals with pretty much a very similar team. Not the exact same, of course, and under Didier Deschamps. And then losing to Messi in Argentina, like it's going to sting, right, Albert?
Yeah, there's definitely an added pressure to do that, to make history in football, which is so important. I think if we're going to slap a pressure tag on one of these teams, I'm with Mikey. It's Argentina, and it's on everybody except Messi. And that's crazy to say, but there's so much pressure on those players to do it for Messi. Whereas France don't have that. France are going to be good for a long time, but equally, if you don't have to put a tag on either of them, there's a massive amount of pressure. You're in the biggest game that this sport has to offer. So if you lose, it's a massive disappointment. If you win, you're on top of the world. But if we're going to put a tag on it, it's Argentina.
I wonder which nation is harder on their players.
Argentina. Not
you
even
think
a
so?
question.
Well, France, though, those fans in France, I get what you're saying. You're probably right. But the French fans, they can be tough on their players, and volatile, right? And they've complained, like I said before, about the way France win. The way they win.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I wouldn't mind my team being complained about the way they win, because they don't win enough.
But Charles, let's not forget, like these Argentina supporters, at one point were calling Lionel Messi out, not doing enough for this Argentinian team, saying that he wasn't good enough, he didn't care enough. And it wasn't him, it was the players around him.
Is it always the comparison with Maradona, right?
Always.
Who was beloved.
Yeah.
But now that switch seems to have happened now, back in Argentina right now, it is all Messi. And it's been that way since, I think, just before Copa America, where he hit a switch.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing, without doubt, the best form he's ever shown in that shirt. I think it's fair to say, right? And he's played well for Argentina in the past. He's been criticized unfairly. But yeah, listen, let's be honest. It's on Argentina, the pressure. There's so much riding on this from a legacy standpoint. And the comparisons with Maradona, he needs that trophy. Maradona, don't forget, as brilliant as he was, it was a much shorter window. I think the longevity that Messi's shown is maybe almost as impressive as the actual football itself. He's done it for 17 years.
Right.
It's amazing.
And that's, I think, one thing we need to talk about as well when it comes to, Messi and Ronaldo, when we'll talk about this GOAT debate or whatever. Whoever you think is the best, that's based on opinion. But I think they separate themselves from everybody else because of that longevity. Almost 2 decades being on top.
they stay
No
healthy.
players do that.
They stay healthy, right?
I think it's fair to say, though, guys, if Argentina do not win on Sunday, the Argentines will find a way to make it about Lionel Messi. But we will see. Up next, guys, we are going to talk about our favorite moments that France and Argentina had this World Cup. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Room 442. Albert, Mikey, James, myself, Sarah. We're going to take a look at now France and Argentina, the moments they've had this tournament. There have been too many to count. So I'm going to ask everyone what their favorite moment from each team has been. We'll start off with France. Albert, moment for France that stuck with you.
You guys know I love a deep lying midfielder, right? And when they score a goal, it's even better. Tchouaméni's goal against England from outside the box. Beautiful goal. 108 kilometers an hour, top speed of that ball to put in the far corner. And that goal, I think, really let everyone know Tchouaméni in the midfield is a legitimate player, because he was having a bit of a rough tournament, I felt, up until that point. And that goal changed everything for him. So that's my moment for France. There's a few that stand out. I was looking at maybe even Australia scoring first against France, because that really kicked them into gear. But I can't stop thinking about that goal.
Still, can Tchouaméni stop that attack from Argentina?
Oh, not by himself. No, not by
he can't,
himself.
right?
No.
It's interesting.
Mikey, what was your moment for France?
It was
What's this?
Kylian Mbappe's second goal
Oh,
against Denmark.
I'm not
And-
Danish, by the way.
Here's a bit. Albert was talking such a big game about Denmark. And up to that point in that match, they managed to hold France at bay. Kylian Mbappe snagged a goal early on. Beautiful little link-up play with, I believe, Theo Hernandez. And then in the 86th minute, this game-breaking, game-changing pass from Antoine Griezmann, who has been absolutely fantastic so far for France at this tournament. And Mbappe, of course, got on the end of it. It was just such a aha moment that, hey, Kylian Mbappe is still very much one of the guys if not the guy at this FIFA World Cup. So for him to put France on his back like that, connecting with Griezmann, I think that was a little bit of a turning point for me, at least in my belief in this French team, that they were a legitimate squad.
James, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going France and with Mbappe as well. But that first goal against Poland, the ball comes in. Giroud with a great control. He brings it down beautifully, finds Dembele, and then finds Mbappe. And then he did he lied with his eyes.
Oh.
He's looking far side. He just roofs it near side. And the second goal was amazing as well, by the way. But that was like, it's not his coming out party because, like Mikey said there, Mbappe had arrived well before then. But he's been, as much as Griezmann's been brilliant in this World Cup, Mbappe's been the face of France, I think. And that really just screamed to me, man, watch out for France because they have a legitimate game breaker, maybe the best in the world at that point. Before Messi did what he did. But still really impressive, man. What a goal that was.
No, lovely. I'm actually taking the same game as you, but I'm taking Olivier Giroud scoring the winner against England, James. I'm sorry. But simply because not necessarily it was the most beautiful goal. It was not better than the Tchouaméni or the Mbappe goal, but this moment for France, beating England in a quarterfinal. This to me, even though they probably had no right doing so, there were a lot of questions about this game. But this to me was that moment where the French were really like, we have beat a big team. They're going to the semifinal. What this meant for France as a nation, I thought this was so crucial. And the fact that it was Giroud, we kept saying, we know this guy's going to turn up. It's been turning up. It's been scoring all the goals. So that really stuck with me. But now let's look at Argentina. And I wonder who's going to be the specific person we talk about in these moments. Albert, Argentina, favorite moment. Best
Okay,
moment.
I'm just trying to think what I put down. Oh, it was Messi's assist. The assist against Croatia. Just everything that went down. Him picking up the ball in so much space at the center of the pitch. Taking Guardiola for a ride. Turning him inside out. Stopping and starting. Taking him to the touchline and making that pass. It was like he turned back the years. 5 to 10 years. To me, best goal at the tournament. And it was an assist that made the goal. So that's my moment for Argentina.
Yeah, can't complain there, Mikey.
Yeah, I'm going with another Lionel Messi assist. Of course, surprise, surprise. But this one, I've watched this replay like 1,000 times. It's his assist against Netherlands, where he picks up the ball in the middle of the park, and his ability to see the runner. I don't know how, the no look, him picking up the ball, the little hesitation, and then the like precise pass right into the path. And I think that was up there with, in terms of quality of assists, right there with his other Lionel Messi assist.
Jeez.
James, what do you have?
Okay, Nicholas Otamendi. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's got to be Messi, obviously. Against Mexico, right? They're coming off that massive loss to Saudi Arabia. All the pressure's on his shoulders. You can almost feel the pressure, right? And he scores that goal. And remember that raw emotion in his face? And going to the corner flag, he was just like beyond pumped. All this pressure falling off him. And like that was almost like a switch. All right, Argentina, we're back. Forget that first match. Messi's back. We're back. We're going to win this damn thing. I thought it was really, it wasn't his best goal. Always, wasn't the best assist even.
Yeah.
But it's just what it symbolized, I think, and a turning point in this World Cup.
I think that was one of the best goals of the tournament, though, because
It was a good
he
goal.
went through like how many defenders. Like if anyone had shifted, that goal wasn't going in, right? So, great shout. If Albert did his homework, he would have seen that I actually chose the same moment as he did. But
That's okay.
it has to be for me. I'll take a little different switch on it. Of course, the Messi assist was something out of this world, and Alvarez scoring. But I think the moment for me is Argentina beating Croatia 3-0 so confidently. Their best game they played as a team. This to me, I mean, they've been growing, but this almost shows like we're here for the final. We are not messing around. I really felt the team came together more so than ever. So it has to be that Croatia game. It just demonstrated confidence. Now I want to ask you guys though, Kylian Mbappe or Lionel Messi? Who are you taking based on this tournament?
Oh, like right now.
Right now, today,
Are we
in
talking
the studio.
like golden ball or like player? Who's the better player?
If we're building a team now, and we need to go with one or the other for one game right now.
Yeah, let's say for
Okay.
some reason you'd have to choose one or the other. No golden ball, nothing. Based on this tournament, who are you taking?
In this final, who would you rather have starting your team?
There
I
you
think
go.
That's the question.
It's not a tough call for a manager. Like you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
Who's going here? Can we
I'll
go
go.
first?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you want to go first?
go first.
It's Lionel Messi. It's not even a question. He could do everything, right? And Mbappe, as good as he is, he still needs a service around him. Messi scores the goals and provides the service. He can do both, right? And you can put players around Messi for that team to succeed. You can also put players around Mbappe to succeed, but if I'm leaning on one to carry my team, it's Lionel Messi.
Yeah, I think I have to agree, but it's closer. It's closer than I think a lot of people think because Kylian Mbappe is still a brilliant game breaker and he's still capable of doing things by himself. You think about the one play against Morocco where he picks up the ball in his half at the sideline. We're like, okay, there's 3 Moroccan players surrounding him. He's not going anywhere. All of a sudden, you see a blistering pace and he goes all the way to the touchline, if not for a fantastic tackle by Amrabat. By the way, what a tournament. He could have been through on goal potentially. So like Mbappe still has the ability to change games by himself, but Lionel Messi, the form that he's in at this tournament is potentially the best form that we've ever seen Lionel Messi, like you said, in an Argentine shirt. So I gotta go Lionel Messi.
Mikey would take the Amrabat over both of them.
Hey, you gotta give some love to Amrabat, man.
I'm obviously going Messi as well. I mean, listen, they're different types of players. You know, obviously Mbappe's still so young in his career. I mean, he's won everything, mind you, or pretty much everything. Not in Champions League, 23. But he cuts that kind of Ronaldo figure more so, I think, that he's just pure athletic genius, just power and speed. It's incredible to watch. Whereas Messi's more of this, he's like the poet out there, isn't he? He's just dictating play, different pockets, pops up, can dominate a game more so perhaps than Mbappe can at this point. Mbappe could definitely evolve more into that, but I don't think we're going to see another Messi for a long time. But we said we wouldn't see a Zidane, or we wouldn't see a Maradona, or there's always someone. This new kid, Endrick, Real Madrid has signed him, right? Palmeiras, 16. Maybe he'll be the next Messi. I don't know, but hey, this is just fun watching them both right now, isn't it?
I have a question. So if you take Mbappe out of France and replace him with Messi, because we consider Argentina and France in this final 50-50 game, essentially.
Yeah, the odds would
But if you
suggest that.
swap, if you put Mbappe on Argentina and Messi on France,
No, it's game over. France is winning that game.
that's my point. Exactly.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't.
No, because the French team overall, player for player, has more
better.
quality.
Yes,
So
I
then
agree.
if you're bringing Messi in,
But I also like Mbappe on the counterattack. Like I would assume
Yeah, he's
France is keeping the ball. You put Mbappe on the counterattack, like he's a guy who can change a
But
game
then now
like
you have
that.
Messi feeding Ousmane Dembele and
Yeah.
Marcus
also
Thuram.
think about Messi
Yeah.
going through like the Argentina defense, which we know is has been a little shaky.
I feel like if you put Messi on this French team, they'd boss the World Cup.
I think
Imagine
it
having
wouldn't
Messi and Mbappe both in the same team.
Wow.
Imagine that. They'd win everything, wouldn't they? Wow, how do they lose a match?
How do they lose? And then imagine a man named Neymar on that team too.
Oh, stop it. Just stop it.
It wouldn't be
Crazy.
fair.
They're missing a
What
goal scorer. I think they need Ronaldo on there. And then
I think one thing I just
team.
want to say, I mean, obviously, guys, we have agreed on everything this show, maybe for the first time. It seems we're all on the same page.
We'll work on that.
Well, yeah, we'll try and change it. Of course, I
Yeah, I
think it is
apologize.
Messi that you have to take in this tournament. One thing I would like to say, though, is also the leadership he brings to his side is one thing that it's not Mbappe's fault. It's simply an age thing, but he brings so much leadership and captaincy to this side. He motivates this team, I think, so much. That speech that we saw him give to Argentina before they played Brazil at the Maracanã for the Copa America. Like, I was almost in tears. Like, it's just the passion and care that he has for his team and his players too, I think gives him also a bit of the edge as well. Besides, of course, being absolutely talented. Mbappe, we love you, and you have so much time to be the best player in the world. All right, guys. That's it for now. We are coming back with Fast Money Football, which means we're going to tell you where to put your money for this World Cup final. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome into Fast Money Football presented by Botana, where we tell you where we think you should put your money. And this is the World Cup Final edition. France, Argentina, this Sunday. Albert, what's your pick?
I'm going with over 2 goals. The 2's a push. Why are you laughing at me? You laughing at me?
You started.
No, Mikey was staring at me. He's
Thank
making
you.
me nervous.
You have my back.
Over 2 goals instead of over 2.5 because the 2 is a push. I expect this to be a 1-1, maybe a 2-0. I just can't imagine these teams not scoring. They've been breached so many times in this World Cup. And with especially Argentina, for some reason, they seem to concede late. And I think France can really hit them on the counterattack if they play that way. Plus Messi on the other side. So I'm going over 2 minus 122.
I
total
keep going
goals.
back and forth on that. Like, is this going to be a lot of goals or is it going to be a 0-0
I am
game?
on the fence.
Like, I don't know, which is a great place to be, I guess,
Well,
for a
because
football
you can't
fan.
read the future, I guess. That's why, right? I mean,
I feel like I could though.
Yeah.
My record might not suggest that I could, but I really feel like I
You
could.
don't like goals, but what do you like?
Yeah,
Mikey?
so we've talked about some great moments so far at this World Cup, and a lot of them have had to do with Lionel Messi assists. So I'm taking Lionel Messi anytime assist at plus 300 for Lionel Messi to register an assist. He has 3 assists so far at this tournament, and as we know, as we've talked about this entire show, Lionel Messi is the guy for Argentina. France knows he's the guy for Argentina. So I expect France to buckle down on Lionel Messi, but what that means, it creates a lot more space for his teammates. And we saw him, unselfishly at times, not try and be the guy necessarily, but he's willing to make that final pass. So at 3-1 odds, Lionel Messi to register an assist, I'm all over that.
I like it.
James?
It's going to be a terrible game, this. Low scoring, for sure. 6 of 8 World Cup finals have gone under 2.5 goals. So Argentina to win this whole thing, somehow. Qualify, call it, I guess, in the betting world. Under 2.5, plus 210 for that. Yeah, I know there's so much talent, but they're both, as I mentioned before, pragmatic teams.
Yes.
They play a certain way. It's a World Cup of moments. They're teams of moments. There will be moments of brilliance, which I'll remember this match for, but it might not be a classic. Not many classics, by the way, at this World Cup. Good World Cup.
No.
Not many classics.
It could be a good 0-0. Is right? There's a
Could
good
be.
There can be. And
There's good
as a
0-0s out
connoisseur
there.
of 0-0s, you love a good
So it's
0-0.
a-
Liverpool, Chelsea have had some good 0-0s.
They
Right?
have.
We could receive
I think it'll be.
It's a Sherman and Vartanian derby, I guess.
Oh
Little
my
opposing
God.
bets.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I have a crazy one for you. Argentina to win in extra time is plus 1,075. I know it's crazy, but look at these World Cup finals. The guys have mentioned it. They like to go into extra time. I don't think it'll be penalties. For some reason, I'm seeing a screamer in the final minutes. Julian Alvarez, I don't know, but if you guys want a little sprinkle, it could be crazy. Messi to score is also plus
Oh,
162.
there it is. I'm waiting for it.
So if you want, I have to give them something exciting. These are all, okay, no, it's been great.
First time you've mentioned Messi. Even though
Guys,
he wasn't playing.
this is our final World Cup show before the World Cup final on Sunday.
Ooh.
We've all been together for the last, 30 days straight. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen,
Oh, okay.
working with all of you for so long. And I can't
miss
wait
you
for
guys.
it to be over. No, but I can't. Sunday, guys. Argentina, France, the final. World Cup, it's here. Let's see what happens. Is Messi going to win? Who knows? Thanks for watching, guys.